Hey folks, what's going on? Heir of Carthage here at Carthage in a campaign in Rome 2. I've been playing this for fun recently because it's been a long time since I played a Rome 2 campaign. It's not bad. It's really not. Like, for as old as this game is and for as crappy a launch as it had, the campaign is actually pretty darn fun in this game. And if you were to ever get this game on sale or any of its other content, it's well worth it. I don't know if they're still charging $60 for it. If they are, I probably wouldn't pay $60 unless you just really wanted it. Not to say it's not a good game, it's just so far from launch that seems ridiculous. But in any case, I love this DLC. Absolutely love it. It's a really fun one, and I just wanted to highlight it because I'm having some fun with it, just kind of trying to play slightly immersively. And let me show you what's going on. It's a Hannibal at the Gates campaign. You start right at the outbreak of the Second Punic War, where Hannibal has attacked Saguntum and plunged Rome and Carthage into this war. So what I started by doing was kind of pacifying and making friends with most of the Iberian-type tribes, hoping that this kind of rights some wrongs in the sense that eventually the Romans were able to come in to Spain and push back against Carthage's territory, and it's one of the things that made them lose the war. I have pushed through the Alps into Italy. I haven't actually done any fighting yet because the Romans were actually losing their border territory to Celts, so shame on them. But their ally Syracuse is apparently helping them. You can see them up here. And Rome has a pretty large legion here, the 10th Legion, and it's led by S. Barius Cicero. And the Etruscan League, of course, is one of their client states here. And I've got a relatively small army with Hannibal that has some hardened veterans to represent Hannibal's, like, his African spearmen, like his best troops that, like, for instance, he used at Cannae. I've got some of his Carthaginian cavalry. I have a couple of units of Numidian cavalry. I have one that is this Numidian noble to kind of represent the fact that the Numidian cavalry was actually really well renowned for its capacity to just kind of take the Roman cavalry head on in these fights. They were very good. That's why I brought it. You'll notice I'm fewer in number. I have some Iberian and Gallic mercenaries, as well as these Balearic slingers and the elephants. Now, by the time Hannibal got this far south into Italy, I don't really think he had any elephants left. So slightly less immersive in that way, but I'm trying to have it be a smaller army, knowing that I would come up against some rather large legions from Rome. This one's a more interesting one, but you can see Rome has another pretty huge legion down here, the 8th Legion, with a lot of Principae and Triarii, or Triarii, whatever. One thing I'm doing different than the actual Punic Wars is I'm kind of doing some make-believe. What if Carthage wasn't so terrible at decision-making and maintaining a professional army like they should have if they wanted to be a power in the Mediterranean and not get overrun? And so I'm actually creating an Alexandrian army, Alexandrian-influenced army, which wouldn't have been unheard of in this time period. And so I have a heavy pike corps to represent an old-school phalanx, and Alexandrian in the sense that I have some more flexible non-pike units to kind of help on the flanks. I have some shock cavalry here, and then some other standard cavalry, and I'm about to, on the next couple of turns when this Perioikos camp finishes, I'm going to recruit a bunch of Libyan peltasts to kind of represent, again, maybe a more Alexandrian-themed army. So this is a what if Carthage had a good fleet, and we're going to take revenge from the First Punic War and invade Sicily and take it back from Rome and Syracuse and pay them back for all of the defeats that they handed us in the past. So again, having a little fun with this, doing a little bit of rewriting history, which is what you do. And I can't move anymore over here. Unfortunately, I can't get into an ambush stance. I don't have 50%. I would love to try and set up an ambush here, but we'll see whether the Romans kind of follow suit to real life, where they tried to use their large superior numbers to attack Hannibal outright at times where they shouldn't. And the Romans should definitely not attack me right now with these elephants. I'm going to rip them a new one. And I hope we get to, though. So let's see what happens. See if we get to play out some of our... Oh, come on! Way to go. Well, anyway, if Rome doesn't want to fight, what I'll do is I'll start moving forward in an ambush stance and see if we can catch them in an ambush. I may raise one of their settlements here, I don't know, just to kind of push on them. But I don't think so. I think I'm going to push forward and just hit an ambush stance here and see if we can lure in some Roman saps here. Oh, what do you mean 50%? We have 50%. Still in the bid. Forces in this stance cannot move. It won't let us go into the ambush stance. We definitely have 50% movement range. I'm not really sure why it's not letting us. Well, let's wreck this settlement and kind of teach Rome a lesson. I think the Etruscan League, yeah. Rome is an ally of theirs, and I'm already at war with Rome anyway. These are my allies, so I don't need to call my allies in to help here. So we're going to take this settlement from them. Let's hope the auto-resolve is not unkind to me. Don't think it should be. Let's be aggressive here. And I'm just going to raise it. Not interested in occupying, or actually, we'll just loot it. Take some cash off of it. Yeah, just take some cash off of it. It did damage one of our elephant units a little bit. Let's just loot it.
My lord.
And we'll kind of use some actually, I forgot that the loot actually occupies it here. Okay, whatever. Whatever, we're doing a little looting. Kind of see if we can turn some of the Roman allies against him. And now what we'll do is move into an ambush stance. And then we've ended one turn. We need another one. I've got a decent little fleet here to help protect this landing force, and I intend to put my fleet to use as well. The Romans did invade Africa right away. Very, very Africanus, Scipio Africanus of them to invade Africa. I did beat them back, though, with some mercenary forces, and I've secured my holdings in southern Iberia as well. I do have some cash now, and we should use it. One of the things that Hannibal was up to in Iberia was actually started by his father after the First Punic War, which was building up Carthage's wealth again with these new colonies. And there was a lot in Iberia that they were able to do to bring quite a lot of wealth. And that was actually one of the things that got Rome's attention and had them upset about what Carthage was doing, was the fact that they were becoming very wealthy in Iberia. And it was definitely a threat to Rome, and they took it as one. Let's see, 2% wealth from all sources, wealth from agriculture. Let's just make an agricultural settlement here. Expand these cities a little. We could do more agriculture here. Honestly, let's do that because we have that wealth from agriculture that's going to be coming in. So we'll spend a little bit there. That should be worth it. We've got this jeweler to bring us like a lot of wealth. It's a little extra squalor, but our public order looks pretty solid. So we'll bring in the jeweler, take advantage of some of the riches. Hispania here. See if there's just anything else obvious that I want to do here. Probably want to build this up a little, but we need some agriculture here. I just can't build it in this particular settlement. Got the fish, I guess. It's about our only bet, and then we're doing wine here. Commercial. I've got enough food though. Let's go ahead and run this upgrade. I feel like it'll be worth it. I don't want any patchy factories here. Provides a garrison of Carthaginian hoplites. We should probably build that to help shore up Tingis in case the Romans are able to maybe turn some of the Numidian factions against us. That actually happened, I believe, in real life as well. We have an unassigned skill for Hannibal. Let's check it out. Let's see what he has. This one, wealth from commerce. It seems like there's a skill for him that's going to help me with mercenaries. Yeah, -6 upkeep cost for mercenaries. Wait, what am I... This seems weird. Hiring cost, and this one takes away the upkeep of the mercenaries. Is that not this? Contractor. Mercenary contracts. It's definitely the same one, but it looks like it's like bestowing different skill than what it says in here. Oh, it's because this contractor. Okay, they just look very similar. I was like, what's going on here? The one has a sword. Okay, sorry, I was confused. Yikes. Yeah, I knew there was one in here that lowers the upkeep of mercenary troops, which we need because Hannibal relied on them, and I intend to use them, and they can be quite expensive. Carthage gets them cheaper than just about anybody else, but they can be quite expensive.
Your men will turn the enemy's bow.
No, I don't think so. Don't need any wars. You guys solve your own wars there. I've been trying to unite Iberia, not rip it apart.
There is a time when warriors must sheathe the sword and talk for the good of their people.
This sounds pretty good. I'm on board. Okay, we've done a little bit of healing. Let's maybe move forward a little here and see if we can ambush. Yeah, I'm gonna set up an ambush here. Our elephants will replenish a little. There's a large, the 10th Legion's here, so maybe they'll move back north, you know, seeing a weak settlement here that's kind of still on fire. I'll actually start repairing some of this stuff. Tear it down, rebuild some things. Got a little bit of stuff going on here. Where's reaches to the Gallic slave whose skills as a goldsmith are fast becoming legend. Let's free him and see what happens. Okay. Let's see. Can I recruit the Libyan Peltist? I just need Libyan Peltist to complete this army. Yes! That's what I wanted. I wanted a heavy Peltist. Get several of these. And then I'm going to take, oh, let's do one more shock cavalry. So, like I said, it'll be a very Alexandrian army in theme. So, quite a few heavy Peltist. Be a lot of fun. Come on, Rome. Get up here. Let's fight.
Only the greatest
the Etruscan League's like, please. Actually, this would be kind of cool. This is actually a little bit immersive here. Hannibal was always looking to kind of turn the Roman allies against him, and they were amazingly resolute and not turning against Rome, which is something that Hannibal kind of over-gambled on. It was one of the few things that he was wrong about from a strategic standpoint. He figured he could turn a lot of these allies against Rome, and it just never happened the way that he expected. Rome kept a surprisingly good hold on them. So let's take this. Again, this will kind of be like our rewriting of history. That made me untrustworthy, I guess, because we had just gone to war here or something. Whatever. I mean, I don't know if Hannibal was really trustworthy. Probably was to his own men. Rome probably never saw it that way, so... Okay, let's do the same thing here. Let's move in. Try and continue this ambush stance and see if we can catch the Romans in an ambush. If not, I'll go into some raiding and see if we can attract a fight here. That's definitely my objective. We're still summoning in the noble cavalry here, and then on the next turn we'll set sail for Sicily. And again, start to right the wrongs of the First Punic War, which should be pretty entertaining. Let's finish building our skirmisher camp here. And then let's see what we can do in Numidia. It's a lot of squalor, but we should be able to cover it up. It's a lot of food. I mean, we have quite a bit of food right now, though. Let's build some of this up. Let's just go for it. Spend some money here. Some extra public order. And let's end another turn. Yes! So, this is what I was hoping for in an episode like this. So now we get to ambush the 10th Legion and kind of have some, you know, some real immersive type play here. So let's ambush them, shall we? Let's do that. Actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna record this battle afterwards so I can give it to you in a more cinematic format. So yeah, that's what I'll show you. Here we are on the field of battle at Iridium in 215 BC, where in our rewritten version of history, Hannibal has managed to ambush from the hills the Roman troops. Now, this game does not have cinematic smoothing. I apologize for that. It'll make it a lot harder for me to get you a smooth experience here, but I'll do what I can. The Roman cavalry goes full bore, plowing through Hannibal's troops before they were set. And then Hannibal only has a few troops to hold this flank. And the Roman cavalry that plowed through is now threatening the Balearic slingers. And Roman infantry is now overloaded against us. However, the Numidian cavalry are quick to lure Equites away from the main fight, leading them into a hail of javelins. And then this opens a hole for Hannibal's elephants to move in on the Roman heavy infantry, which has engaged headlong into Hannibal's toughest troops here. his Phoenician spears, or his African troops here. You can see that the Romans see the elephants coming and they try to stop them. Their Saki Equites making a charge, but Hannibal's elephants plow on through and straight into the back of the Roman general here. And the Roman general just eats it. Hannibal's elephants start crushing through them. And while all that's happening, the Roman cavalry did cause a little bit of trouble on the other flank, and this infantry fight is getting a little desperate. The weight of Roman numbers is pretty significant, but the Numidian cavalry has done its job and turned and smashed the remaining Equites who were fighting the Carthaginian, or about to turn and smash the remaining Equites. You can see here they're taking a volley of javelins to the back. The Equites were holding out quite nicely, but not for long. They're going to be crushed, and Hannibal has crushed the Roman general, and seeing the general crushed, the lighter, less veteran troops in the Roman army now start to waver, and they realize that they're in a strange position where they're about to be outflanked. The Numidians have already started to deal with the Roman velites, who were skirmishing with the Balearic slingers, and Hannibal's African elephants are now plowing into the back of the lighter Roman infantry, and a mass rout ensues. And much like in actual history here, Romans' barbarians allies managed to hold just long enough for his plans to be enacted. He was able to inspire them to do what needed to be done, and an overconfident Roman general will lose his legions and be disgraced. But I guess, you know, by Roman standards, they'll be happy that he rode into battle. Those guys really liked some aggressive leaders. Ask Fabius. They weren't real happy with the way he was trying to do things, which is part of the reason why Hannibal managed to beat them in a number of battles. But yeah, these guys got overconfident, moving towards Hannibal, looking for an engagement, and found one that they didn't expect. Again, much like what happened in history, and again, much like history, Hannibal crushed a numerically superior force. Yeah, that turned out just like that I had hoped it would. Now, the Romans didn't have quite the infantry that I'd hoped they would here, to make this a little more interesting, but very Hannibal-esque in the sense that caught them in a surprise battle, got a hold of their flank, used his key units like elephants and Numidian cavalry to advantage, all that kind of stuff. So good stuff here. That was fun. And see, that's one of the things I've always liked about this campaign, is the fact that you can play it however you want. You can rewrite history, you can write it the way it happened. If you want to go salt Carthage or whatever, you know, you can do whatever you want. Rewrite it in the sense that, oh man, Garamantia, come on. Well, I mean, I'm going to enter the war on the side of my ally. Garamantia is such a basket case. Well, I think I have a different idea on how to, I'm actually going to do this even though I'm about to finish, so... I'm going to bring another army over here to help deal with Garamantia. We'll bring this one over, hire up some mercs, and I'm going to force march them back this way. We're going to go ahead and load up our Sicily invasion force.
Of course.
Get tied into this fleet, and we're going to sail over to Lilybaeum and take back what was rightfully belonging to Carthage. So we had a great battle here with Rome, and we should make them pay for it. This is something that Hannibal wasn't able to do via siege as often as he would like to, though he did occupy territory in Italy, and he did so for, I believe, over a decade that he was in Italy, before they actually finally forced him out by invading Africa.
We take this settlement for you, my lord.
So, a bit of a settlement to take here. It's not going to be much. I am going to fight it, though, just so they don't kill off some of my units. And I'll show it to you all. So, outside the small settlement of Iridium, the Roman troops are sallying out. I mean, this is very Roman of them. Not willing to sit back and fight. They're going to go meet Hannibal's troops on the battlefield. And Hannibal has spread his troops all over the battlefield to attack the Romans from multiple directions. I don't know, was that like a feint javelin throw from the Hastati there? I didn't actually see the release of any pilum. Is that a CA, please? So the Roman infantry is going to be engaged, and then moving down from the trees on the hill were some of Hannibal's Iberian swords who had been in hiding. Now, these guys carry a pretty large number of Soliferum iron javelins. These are pretty cool javelins. I don't think it's actually modeled properly after it on here, but that's what they would have carried. Falcata armed swordsmen. And Hannibal's elephant slams into the Roerii, which were just kind of some cheap defenders here, and they're going to find out that they were low quality, and then swinging in from behind them within the settlement, because they didn't check their flanks. I guess not having learned from the previous ambush, the Romans have even more elephants facing them down from behind, and things are about to get real ugly for the Romans here, real ugly indeed. Unleashing a hail of javelins into the back of the Pastati. Yes, I said Pastati, that was a fun name for him back in the day with all of the spaghetti lining. The Romans are going to be utterly crushed under the foot of elephants. These Romans in the garrison did not await their reinforcements, which were coming from afar, so they most assuredly should have fought in a defensive position and waited for the reinforcements to come surround Hannibal's attacking troops. And the Numidian cavalry got back inside them and took control of the town. And we'll see what happens as the reinforcing troops show their face. So the reinforcing Roman troops saw their brethren routing, wondered what was up, and continued to make speed towards the town, not realizing that it's already well under the control of Hannibal's troops. They have no eyes on it. And they see the cavalry facing them, and the Roman commander is giving orders to take defensive positions to prevent against an all-out cavalry charge, but these Numidians are just here to harass the Roman infantry as they approach, and to keep their attention while the movement of Hannibal's troops remains hidden. You can see that the Romans, pretty desperate here, having to use their nice shields here to try and protect them from a hail of Numidian javelins. All the while, up over the hill, the Romans don't know what's awaiting them. Hannibal's units are already in control of the Roman town. You can see these nice eagle banners here already being controlled by the hoplites of Carthage. And they will be sallying out to meet these Romans. Kind of feel sorry for them, making them fight that choke point battle because they're already horribly overmatched. Now, it's got to be at this point that the Roman leader begins to crap himself and realize what he's walked into, that the town garrison has already been defeated before his troops were able to arrive, and now tired from having run all the way across the map, his men perform a gallant charge to fight for their country and their women and children in the town, and they will be met by Hannibal's hardened and braced hoplite phalanxes. CA, please, let them fight overhanded with their spears in the next game. So frustrating. They always fight underhanded with the spears. In any case, the Roman infantry gets fixed, and of course they are being surrounded and set up for destruction. You can see that where the Romans didn't attack the phalanx, they break formation and surround the troops, and then now the cavalry has moved in from behind. You can see that in the background, some Hastati had been needlessly and fruitlessly chasing the Numidian cavalry, while the Carthaginian cavalry gets lined up for rear charges, and then Hannibal's elephants come in to support his own troops. And the Roman troops are already fleeing, and the Hastati finds themselves, after being tired, absolutely crushed by Hannibal's cavalry. Yeah, didn't expect that one to be a huge challenge because the Romans just didn't have the forces left, but, you know, hopefully you all enjoyed a good elephant trouncing while we're at it. I mean, that doesn't get old, does it? So here we go. We put a pretty serious hurt on the Romans by cutting right into their territory and causing them some big worries. Not a battle of Cannae, but, you know, something to be fun here. Something fun to be sure. Let's tear down their trash, rebuild it, start getting this area punicized. Let's see how our invasion is going. Oh, wrong place. Let's head back over here. Yeah, we still gotta wait. Let's end our turn. The Fist of Baal, my army that Hannibal's leading, has a tradition they can carry on now. Hannibal was never able to be the type of siege expert that he needed to be, so I'm going to add that, you know, just kind of a fun rewriting of mistakes of history as well. Check it out, man. The 10th Legion just hasn't learned their lesson, and they brought their 3rd Legion friends, and the Auto-Resolve seems to think that they have a pretty fantastic chance here, so Hannibal gonna get some more action here in Italy to end up kind of being like real life, too, where he just consistently beat the crap out of the Romans on multiple occasions, even when supposedly outmatched. So the initial Roman troops deployed on the wrong side of the cities. This is very brilliant of them, and you can see what's happened to that Triarii unit that decided to take things into their own hands. Here is the Roman general celebrating Javelin Day with his new Carthaginian friends. Now, the other general that is attacking Hannibal's troops, and I'll give you a rundown on it here, is actually Publius Cornelius Scipio, or Scipio. And he is in this unit of Legatus, charging headlong, showing some nice Roman arrogance. And as he charges into the Carthaginian spear line, he's met with a hail of javelins and sling stones coming in from behind it, but the Roman cavalry just continues to pile on. And Scipio is actually in this mix. I don't know exactly where. It's very hard to spot a general sometimes in this game. Wish we could spot him. There'll be one of these guys in here that's actually probably wielding a sword instead of the spear, but I'm not 100% certain. But Scipio's troops find themselves in a very poor position because of, again, his overconfidence. And they are now surrounded by Carthaginian cavalry, and there is no escape. So the Roman cavalry will be massacred and put to flight. And that's before its infantry was ever able to get into position. They were too hasty to get into the city and engage Hannibal, looking for that Roman glory. A glory that, just like in real life, didn't really come until years of Fabian tactics, and then the younger Scipio finally going to Africa and finally pulling off a decisive defeat of Hannibal. But much like what happened in history, the elder Scipio learned the hard way that Hannibal was definitely his superior in battle. And I actually have an inkling that Hannibal was the superior of the younger Scipio as well, but the younger Scipio had the benefit of years of Hannibal being worn down, years of lessons learned by those before him, and kudos to him. He took the lessons and was able to help win a decisive victory at the Battle of Zama, but something tells me that had those been different circumstances, that the younger Scipio would have been quite easily defeated by Hannibal as well. He kind of had everything going for him. A very supportive government, loads of fresh troops, and he had some initiative, and Hannibal had lost most of his most veteran troops by that point. Not to say that Scipio was untalented. He certainly was a talented leader, especially by Roman standards, since, and I say that, Hannibal was obviously a very talented leader, especially by Carthaginian standards, because Carthaginian generals, let's just be honest, they sucked. Like, outside of Hannibal and his dad to a lesser extent, yeah, Carthaginian leaders were absolute garbage on the battlefield. Their military history is one of just one pathetic defeat after another. Just go look at the history and the wars in Sicily. It never seemed to go good with Carthage. The defeat of the Sacred Band against the Greeks, the First Punic War, yeah, it was never good. It was never good. The mercenary wars, there was just all kinds of problems for Carthage. So that's why I kind of have fun with these, you know. Like I said, you get to rewrite history a little. See some Roman Hastati now coming in, and they're going to run into my wall of spears as well. They will be well ready for them, and once again we're just going to pile up the Roman troops against a wall of bronze and then crush them with some outflanking. The Romans not having yet learned their lesson about how to regroup their troops and use them effectively. Certainly using their flexibility in an open field battle could be very advantageous to them, but the AI, I mean, let's just be honest, they're incompetent, so The Romans definitely at a big disadvantage here since they're AI controlled. See the veteran Triarii coming in here. Even some Gallic Auxilia there, it looks like, as well. Yeah, Mercenary Gallic Warriors, awesome. Here comes some Principe too, so there's some heavy sword infantry as well. Romans really piling it in, trying to break through Hannibal's line. And Hannibal's now sending his light swordsmen in to help support the spearmen against the Roman infantry. And the cavalry has moved around the flanks as well and is just awaiting the right opportunity. You can see here the hoplites moving into position and the swordsmen getting ready to back them up, and then elephants moving into position both from behind and the flank. Let you all just kind of enjoy some of this sweet cinematic goodness here at the end. There are some Roman Triarii here, which are going to be attacked by my elephants, but more importantly, Hannibal himself has picked up a very nice flanking position. And these lightly armored Gallic warriors intermixed with their Roman masters. Very heavily armored Roman masters, I might say. Man, those Roman units look cool. As much as I'm a fan of Carthage, you gotta admit, man, there's just something that looks real good about a Roman legion. That's another what-if thing that would be fun. What if Hannibal had command of a Roman legion? Holy crap. Imagine what that guy would have done. Speaking of Hannibal, let's get a view of him here atop his elephant. Nose bloodied? I don't know, maybe he bloodied his own nose. So his first incursions into Italy, rewriting history in a way very favorable to Carthage. His elephants killing hundreds of Roman and Gallic troops as they are sent routing at the hands of the combined arms. Well, Hannibal was very successful. Very successful again, supposedly being overmatched, but he obviously was not. It was the Romans who found themselves overmatched here. Partly because the AI controls them. Not gonna lie, it does put the Romans at a pretty big disadvantage. AI control, you know. Not much you can do about it. So we finished some research on Sidonian rights, which is kind of improving our military. Again, something that Carthage didn't always... this will actually be kind of a cool one here too. Diplomats, see if we can kind of smooth over relations with a bunch of people so that we can really focus our efforts on Rome. These Carthaginian hoplites can be retrained now into late units, so maybe a bit of a representation of them reforming and learning as they went through the war, albeit not directly, but still kind of a fun thing to do here. Boy, very generous here, +1. Don't get too generous there, CA. Don't get too generous. Second wind would actually be really good. So yeah, I think that'll be good for this episode. We got to have some fun with it. Yeah, you know, we're pushing it on Rome, but what I'll do, I'm not gonna make like a whole campaign of this, but I just wanted to have some fun, you know, like some kind of make your own history type storytelling here. And the next one will invade Sicily. So again, this will be righting the loss of Hamilcar in the First Punic War for losing Sicily. So we'll make that loss right, and we'll continue to have a little fun here with Hannibal. Hope you all enjoyed this today. Again, just something a little different for a Sunday here, to show you all something that I enjoy doing on the side, and just a way to have fun with your Total War games. You don't always have to play it the same way. So like in this case, you know, normally I kind of like to conquer every settlement along the way, but I didn't do that here. You know, Hannibal didn't have all that support. We just plunged ourselves right into Italy, and we just gotta fight. Gotta fight your way through it with a not spectacular army, right? I mean, yeah, the elephants are pretty spectacular, but I think you all know what I mean. Anyway, I will see you with some more of this again soon. And yes, I am going to do some other historical Total Wars too. I just wanted to do this, and then I think I'm going to move on to some Fall of the Samurai, because I really enjoyed that one too.